Okay.
Okay, so yeah, it's a Brow on the Drow, Moon Timbersaw. Fear's on the Grimstroke even, March on the Sven.
Yeah, so I guess it's going to be 4. They're going to be giving more farm to the Grim as opposed to the Sven, because Fear's the 4 position, March is the 5.
Or at least that's what we suspect. To be fair, we don't 100% know that. They might have swapped that around, but that's true. Of course, Milan was there 4 before. Noticing Ori, he's playing the Dazzle here. So they end up, get the final pick, Oracle, also a bit of a change up there in the end.
Oh,
and
nice.
Then the Dazzle core is what we're going to see now.
This is a great way to deal with a Timbersaw. If it was a support Dazzle, then obviously bad Juju armor reduction doesn't really come into play that much. But if you're a core, you are definitely going to have the mana regen and levels to build up that bad Juju cooldown reduction. And a Necrobook is also a great way to deal with all these heroes. Being able to converge onto a Drow Ranger with the Archer Slow is a good way to cut down her damage. So, I don't know, I'm definitely leaning towards ViCi Gaming, but J-Storm went for all comfort, aside from the Brile. Maybe he plays Drow Ranger, I don't know, but I haven't known him for it. But Frev, Axe, Mu Timber, and I guess Sven in general, even though it's not on Fear.
Well, if you want to go back to I don't even remember the TIA qualifiers, J-Storm actually was known for running Drow strats. Again, the hero has changed, to be fair, so it's not the exact same hero, but it still has similarities, of course, to what it was before, and the overall concept is definitely still very similar. Also, she has a lot of bodyguards, I guess you can say. You know, a lot of these beefier targets in front of her that are going to be distractions, I suppose, is another thing to look out for. But yeah, curious drafts. Like, we talked about that going into this tournament, and we saw quite a bit of that yesterday in our Group B action or Group A action even that we were casting. And we're starting strong here today, man, as far as just different things coming out.
Yeah, and even in the other groups as well, there have been a wide variety of heroes and strategies. Because even in day 1, like we were seeing more push strats and early game strats happening. This game, I don't really see push strats on either side for this game. It'll be a pretty conservative game in terms of there's not going to be like any urgency for objectives. Both teams have pretty similar late game in my opinion. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what J-Storm have up their sleeve with this Drow Ranger.
Fade, initially, going to get that ward down in the middle lane right away. Earthspear are very good at that, of course, and you had Drow running here immediately, but not able to get there quick enough. Earthspear with that barrel roll. With a rolling boulder, able to get that good ward spot, and at the bottom, they also will block the spawn of the camp. The pole camp down there, and setting up as if they are thinking about it, doing a aggressive tri-lane? They got Titanor down here as well. Wait a second. No, Earthspirit's going top. Okay, never mind. So it's going to be a Dazzle mid, yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be Dazzle mid. That would be very, very surprised if they sent him anywhere else.
Yeah. I've seen a Tide Hunter mid a couple times, to be fair, and not saying, you know, obviously there's specific matches, like a Broodmother definitely comes to mind, but
yeah, but again, like the goal with this Dazzle pick, especially giving it a core role, is because you want someone to deal with Timbersaw, and Dazzle's the best answer for that. Also with Axe, being able to deal with Axe, because like yes, technically the Axe matchup is bad for Dazzle because he can cull through Shallow Grave, but Axe is also very reliant on high survivability with his armor, and so if you're able to cut that down with bad Juju, all of a sudden he looks way more vulnerable.
Yeah, see, and that's the first thing you said. Yeah, it's counter on paper against support Dazzles. I mean, he still has Shallow Grave, but yeah, when he's playing more aggressive like this, more core focused, absolutely, he is going to be doing quite a bit as far as damage and harassment on the Axe. So it ends up being a tri-lane sure enough, but ViCi going to go at top, and so is J-Storm. So we're going to have a try-on-try action right from the beginning.
Yeah, and the other lanes are not going to be particularly interesting. The Timbersaw versus Tidehunter matchup in the bot lane, and Dazzle versus Drow Ranger, I don't really see that. My eyes are going to be locked on this top lane for sure.
Stormhammer ready to go. Force Sven, of course, at level 1. Mentioned it's just that 1.7 seconds instead of level 1. It goes up to 2 seconds at level 4, but you can almost just call it kind of a static time right there. In fact, it's going to go out as they go through the route on Axe with the Fortune's End, but both teams showing that they're willing to fight if that's what it takes. It just underneath the tower currently in the meta form is Terrorblade. So J-Storm, they're not afraid to dive though. I mean, they have Axe after all with a double Stout Shield, and in fact a couple of Cooling Blade spins, Oracle, kind of Helixes even. Not going to be enough damage though. And March is trying to find Amir. Hiding in the trees. He's going to be good for now. So Sven now needs to be careful himself almost.
Axe feels so impervious. There's so little magic damage in this tri-lane that no one can really scare him off. Or the Earth Spirit didn't even get an Orb of Venom or anything like that. Rolls in, but yeah, he's lucky these creeps aren't causing any spins. The thing is that Terrorblade doesn't really care about this that much. Terrorblade has extremely high armor, assuming he doesn't die here, which is eminently possible.
Dying he cares about, and Paparazzi's doing his best not to die right now. You have Axe coming in, of course, he doesn't have the call. He already used his Battle Hunger, so that's on cooldown. Another hammer coming up in a second, and March will get the first blood. Did he get the first blood? Yes, Grimstroke dead right after. Ends up being the 1-for-1. Either way, though, I mean, they just killed the Terrorblade, and that, I mean, that's the name of the game, clearly. J-Storm, that's the mission up here is just to make the life terrible on Terrorblade.
Right, and delay his time to do that transition in the jungle phase, which is usually only viable starting at like level 5, ideally level 6 or something like that. But in terms of farming on the jungle, between having high armor, like the dude has 15 armor when he's underneath the tower on this Terrorblade and a stout shield, it's not that big of a deal. But someone needs to be able to mitigate all of these like bits and pieces of damage coming through with the Stroke of Fate and the Stormhammer and now the Battle Hunger as well. It's not pleasant for Paparazzi.
Quick glance at the other lanes real quickly. You know, let's expect the action at the top. But we got Drow versus Dazzle in the mid lane. Somewhat of a unique matchup there, of course. And right now, Dazzle's 9-9, Drow is 9-3. So we're even on the CS side of things, positive at least, but the deny is favoring Dazzle quite a bit. Then you have the bottom lane. You got Tidehunter. He's actually doing very well against the Timbersaw.
Yeah, early on, Tidehunter does very, very well. As more points come into the Whirling Death on Timbersaw, then it becomes a little bit different. But Yang can definitely abuse a Timber at these early levels. And in the mid lane, it's only going to get harder for Drow Ranger. Levels make a huge difference on Dazzle from 0 to 6 than they do on Drow Ranger, who's pretty much only at level 6 does she actually get a spike.
Does she get her Gust at level 4 in this matchup?
I don't think it'll help, because you basically Gust... Dazzle doesn't need a combo. Either he gets the Poison Touch off and he goes for a kill attempt, or he gets Silence, doesn't get the Poison Touch, and just waits until the Silence times out. So I don't think it's worth getting a point in Gust.
Air Spirit TP's in the middle lane. They want to go for the kill on a Brawl. Brawl starts running away, though. Got the information. Rolling Boulder in. Doesn't necessarily connect, but him just being here is going to be enough damage. That Poison Touch you're just talking about, level 2 even. It is just so much damage. It continues to add up. Top lane, though, Oracle. They're like, all right, Air Spirit's mid. Let's go ahead and dive the Oracle at the top lane. ViCi going to save him initially. Popping a stick. DY making this difficult, but March eventually gets to him and cuts him down there. So another kind of a 1-for-1 trade. But this one favoring ViCi Gaming. And apparently we're not done just yet. Oh, brought his TP back in. And he's going to die once again to the Dazzle and a double damage Earth Spirit. That is not what you want if you're the Drow.
Yeah, that means his TP is going to be down also, and he has no boots. He doesn't even have the money for boots. He has to walk back to lane with 292 move speed. Oh man, that really hurts. Because, yeah, this entire creep wave is going to die, and if Dazzle is very aggressive with pushing it, he could actually get this next lane into the tower before Drow shows up, but looks like Ori's just going to be conservative about it. Top lane, though, the chaos never ends. Although Forev...
he's dead.
He's dead.
Metaform, and this Earth Spirit, man, he is just making plays left and right. Fade with a body block on him, March. Trying to get a range for a Fortune Zen. If anything, a Purifying Flames. He's got both ready to go now. Purifying Flames. Stroke of Fate coming out right there. Kind of a swing and a miss, but Sven eventually going down. Here comes that Inkswell, though. It hits both. Basidic helping a little bit onto the Earth Spirit, but now they're both trying to run Oracle. Battle Hunger, of course, going to slow him down heavily, and Forev should be able to at least get a turn kill here. And so they do on the Oracle, but big picture, again, ViCi Gaming, no doubt starting to take over as we're now 5.5 minutes into this laning phase.
Yeah, a lot is going to be on the shoulders of Forev. He's going for the Vanguard. We'll have it fairly soon, not any of these crazy soon timings that we've been seeing on some axes these days. It's probably going to be like maybe a 9-minute Vanguard or something like that. Maybe a 7-minute Vanguard, but after that, he's going to need to get the blink, and he's going to need to start jumping, because if ViCi Gaming can dictate the pace with this Earth Spirit, who's been doing such a good job at rotating, then this Drow is just going to get permanently hassled, and she's never going to feel safe.
I mean, you see he's back in the middle lane. They see Sven over here, actually, and Earth Spirit's going to go cut him off. March is not expecting this. There's that Warcraft. It's only level 1, though. So going to mitigate some of the damage. Eventually wears off, however. Heal Bomb on top of that. You see that bad Juju kicking in. The Poison Touch.
He's dead.
Is he? Yeah, he sure is. It just kept refreshing, and I like that too. Dazzle just kind of walks away. He's like, yeah, I know what I'm doing. Top lane, Terrorblade. He goes down though. They take advantage of the support's missing at least.
Yeah, Inkswell plus X. It's a little bit too difficult for him to deal with, but meta was down, and I wouldn't be surprised if he starts feeling like transitioning into the jungle, or he's got level 7 now, so he's got Bad Juju ready to go. He's got 4 points in Poison Touch, so he can 1v1 X and win if he shows up to the top lane. So it may be that they're trying to take down this tier 1 tower, as there are a lot of dire heroes congregating in this mid lane, and they want to maybe free it up to give Terrorblade a little bit of room to farm.
Not that he needs to be, but it does make you kind of wonder when his Timbersaw also going to be getting involved, because just been quietly down here. And speaking of Titan on the other side, he's up here and he's got a Ravage ready to go. In fact, they're going to lock down Sven. Go for the kill on him. Drow sees Tidehunter, but Tides realizes it's a little too far away. And a Ravage there probably not going to set up for the kill. So yeah, Tide's moving around even already as Timbersaw continues to push out that bottom lane. Again, not saying he should be, but what do you think? When does Moon need to get involved here?
I'm actually really surprised that Moo went for 4 points in reactive. That is, maybe it's specific against the Tidehunter matchup, but usually I expected a more greedy build coming out of Moo, and he could participate earlier on. But with 4 points in reactive, it's kind of difficult. Maybe it's necessary against a Dazzle, and so he's going to take over this mid lane, give the bot lane to the Drow Ranger. But I don't know, right now Drow Ranger is really struggling for something. Having jungle pre-level 6 is so depressing.
These supports
to do right now
continue to do work here on ViCi Gaming side, but Axe is going to survive for now. Inkswell comes out from Fear and going to keep him alive. The Battle Hunger helping to take down Fate in the last auto attack. Not enough damage, actually. Her Spirit barely survives. Stroke of Fate out of range. They're not done just yet, though. Sven and Warcry going to go for the stun. Nice job of the Fortune's End Purge right there, slowing them down. Terrorblade continues to run. Fate's Edict even coming out, stopping some addict damage, I suppose, but the Coaling Blade eventually gets the kill. But now the Ravage response from Tidehunter. They take out Axe, and they want more damage. Fear's going to be a next victim. Another Anchor Smash double kill for Yang. Sven able to make his way out of there, but the action continues to take place, and during all of that, Ori's just going to take the mid-tier 1 as a result.
Yeah, Dazzle doesn't really have to do anything. He's going to make his way to his Necrobook very, very quickly. And it sucks for Terrorblade, but this is like a necessary evil. And he still has his tower, which is honestly better than I was expecting for him, given the way that J-Storm was just running down his lane. So he still has his tier 1 available, and that's what helped Yang TP in for that Ravage. Definitely a worthwhile Ravage at this stage of the game. And yeah, Moo's I don't blame Moo for playing it cool right now. It's a shame, but I don't think that he's in a position to do very much, as Fade now just showed up to the bot lane to defend the tower, but he can't really do very much against Moo solo.
But, I mean, that's the other part of it, though, I guess. And not that Timbersaw, again, needs to be active earlier on. It's just, is him sitting back and farming going to make the biggest difference when you do have now a Terrorblade that's going to start recovering? Dazzle is going to start pushing now with that Necro. I mean, I'm sure he's going to start responding here. As soon as Dazzle starts pushing the top lane, as they're kind of doing, Yang's even going to dive on this. And the call will come out from Axe, kind of pulling Yang back, and here shows up Moo, just on cue. They take out Tidehunter, and they're going to get the Oracle as well. Meanwhile, Dazzle gets the kill on Forev elsewhere.
Yeah, he takes it down to the Poison Touch.
Okay.
But
they make it a 2-for-1.
Yeah, 2 heroes go down. I think the Tidehunter may have overestimated how tanky he is. All he has is the Vlads right now, which again, like I said, it's all about the race with the Vlads. And J-Storm don't have a Vlads yet. I don't even know who's going to be building it, because Timbersaw, he's going for a Vanguard of his own. Axe already finished up his Vanguard. I would feel like someone needs to get a Vlads, especially against a Dazzle. Like, Vanguard is great for block, but in terms of armor, it gives you nothing. And armor is the main thing against a Dazzle with bad Juju, so someone needs to start building it. Hopefully soon, rather than later. Otherwise, again, Drow Ranger just has nothing to do.
At least a Crimson Guard, too. And you mentioned the Vanguard and Axe. That can obviously transition into that against this lineup, but we'll see it potentially coming out. But for now, their bottom tier 1 is now going to be heavily pushed. Terrorblade set up with that meta, and he's got both supports nearby, so in case he does get jumped, they are ready to react. But from the looks of it, though, J-Storm is content on giving it up. They're smoking down here, actually, but not going to get there quick enough. They might find the supporting cast, however. Yeah, the ping's coming out. Do they have vision in this area? They do.
They see it.
Wrapping around.
It's just
no
two
blink.
supports though, but they'll take it if they can get both of them, or Spirit may just evacuate, immediately roll out.
Well, as soon as that Soulbind goes up, yeah, get the hell on
They
out.
have Ravage, but they don't have any cores. And
Like you
it's 5
said,
heroes.
it's just the supports. It's just Oracle in that case. Yeah, just retreat. Not worth going crazy. And that's the thing with Soulbind too. It's Air Spirit saw it applied. He's like, all right, I'm not getting close to you. Get away from me. So then he did. What does Timbersaw go in this game, by the way?
I'm equally curious to find out.
Bloodstone, yeah.
Yeah,
He's going the Bloodstone, it looks like.
So who's getting the Vlads then? Because Axe is building up a blink. Dude, you gotta do it. I was also very skeptical when everyone was like, oh my god, you gotta get Vlads. And everyone, like every single panel is just like, well, the so-and-so got Vlads and this is time. But it makes a significant difference, especially even against teams that don't have minus armor reduction like Dazzle with bad Juju. So, again, like my main concern is just like Drow Ranger is going to feel so vulnerable if she doesn't have anyone helping her with the Vlads. Yang.
Drow magnetizes up. Now, this is the Shrine fight, so you got to be careful. Doing some good damage still. Gust away on a Dazzle and a Oracle. They got Grimstroke already. You mentioned the Ravage. Will they get close enough to use it if necessary?
May not even need it.
It's a Drow kill. They don't even need it, though. Yeah, so not worth it. Anchor Smash out of range, but the Magnetize, if anything, should take him down. Yang's like, no, I got this. Smashes him with the Anchor and goes back to that top tier 1 tower. So, yeah, they still have the Ravage, and it's one of those cases, almost the threat of the Ravage is arguably better than using it in some cases. So, J-Storm's going to have to continue to play around that. Moo's pushing bottom lane meanwhile, but clearly he wants a Bloodstone before he does anything here.
A Bloodstone or an opening. It may be that once Axe completes his Blink Dagger, then he's like, okay, me and you can start making space for the rest of our team. My Bloodstone isn't going to be as big of a spike as Ferev's Blink Dagger, and Ferev's getting very, very close to it, just 120 gold away.
Mm-hmm. And that Blink is going to be key. J-Storm needs that Ferev. Almost there, as mentioned. Sven, he's realizing that they're nearby, and he'll just walk away. No Warcry necessary there. But you just see how the movement of ViCi right now. They're just not afraid to run at J-Storm, and it is that threat of that Ravage specifically that no doubt gives him that presence. This Tidehunter with his own Vlads. Feeling pretty cozy. Dazzle nearby. Dazzle even going the mech.
With a mech. Huh. That is interesting.
Grouping up and fighting, baby. Guardian Greaves.
Oh, yeah, I suppose so. But I would have thought that a higher level Necro would have been a little bit more valuable, especially if they're being so oppressive in the enemy jungle, then being able to eliminate all this vision with like a minimal investment. Just plop a Necrobook 3, immediately eliminate everything that the enemy support put up, and like Sun doesn't have much to go with right now. He's not even level 6 yet. March is level 5, all he has is Brown Boots. And if you're able to make these supports feel even more poverty by eliminating all the vision, it's great. But early Roche, it gets scouted out.
Bit of distraction here from Fade. Gonna keep them at bay. Roshan, though, it's not that quick as Moo's going in. He's got the Bloodstone as well. He's gonna be silenced up pretty quickly. It does wear off. Gus in the backlines hits Oracle. The Soulbind on 2, but they don't really have the best Soulbind follow. As I said, they go through with Stormhammer's done. The Ravage not coming up just at the taunt eventually comes out, but now Yang gets the Ravage off, and Paparazzi's ready to fight with the newly bought Aegis right there. Gotten Aegis. They get to kill on Drow as well as Sven, and Moo has to keep on running. Magnetize is applied, though, and the great stun in. Good Timber Chain away, though. Couple more auto attacks. Oh, he's using the Bloodstone right there, so he will stay alive because of that, if anything. So it got close, but they lose 2. They give up the Aegis. Terrorblade, he's going to continue to farm now.
The ViCi gaming supports are looking way more useful than this Sven and Grimstroke are. And I maybe the idea was so that they can get 2 Stormhammers, which is cute, I suppose. But Soulbind is not really helping that much. The Inkspell was fantastic in the laning phase, but so far Grimstroke is not really being able to contribute very much, and the only single targeted thing that's worth chaining together with the Soulbind is going to be Stormhammer. So it's nice, but let's see if they can get a kill on a Tidehunter in mid.
That's a Tidehunter, that's the problem. He's quite tanky. Air Spirit's coming in, and Dazzle's even here just in case, so no chance. Timbersaw wants more. The call will connect on Earth Spirit, and actually they will get that kill, so 1 charge added to Moo's Bloodstone now.
And they're sticking around. They want to push this, though. Even though Ravage is down, I don't know if they can confidently do so. The one thing is that Ferev having a Blink Dagger is making things very, very difficult for Dazzle. He doesn't feel safe getting into fights because Ferev blinking on him and taunting will, like, you can't cast any spells, you can't activate more bad Juju stacks, so it works quite well. That
Warcry buff applied, and Timbersaw having to respect the TP coming in from Earth Spirit as well, so they're trying their darndest to push this tier 1, but not only is ViCi holding this, but they're doing it without their Terrorblade, of course, who continues to farm elsewhere, and he's just farming in the Radiant jungle right now, so he's close behind his Dazzle teammate, who happens to be top of the game with those Guardian Greaves finished. And of course, still that level 1 Necronomicon, but you'd expect to maybe start seeing that leveled up. But yeah, those Guardian Greaves, I mean, you're dealing with the Gust specifically on the other side, and it seems like no doubt going to get some good value out of it.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, level 3 Necro can also purge, but it's not as convenient, so...
Yeah.
I mean, Drow Ranger is at some point going to have to join in the fight, and when she does... It's got to be in the form of damage, because her spells are not going to be able to do very much. No one's really going to get kited by this maxed frost arrows, because everyone is just so good at jumping on you, even this Terrorblade. And in terms of her damage, right now, everyone on the side of ViCi Gaming is so tanky as they take tier 2 and still have a good 2 minutes left on this Aegis, but I don't know how much Paparazzi's going to want to push. He's got a fair amount of time left on Metamorphosis, but again, I think they're just going to try to strangle out J-Storm, make sure there's nowhere that they feel safe farming.
Yeah, it's your classic case of they're in no rush, right? Like, why would they feel like they need to go tier 3 right now? It's sure they have the Aegis, but they don't need to. They kind of let J-Storm push out a little bit, maybe catch them as they're doing that. They're trying to right here, but J-Storm reacting appropriately themselves and not getting caught, but there's still another tower up even at the top lane, so yeah, we'll probably start seeing them push that out now. Specifically with that Dazzle, of course, who is, sure enough, heading up there, at least making his way through the jungle. So Dazzle also has a Scythe queued up now, so he's not even interested in leveling up the Necronomicon at this point, at least just yet. But a Scythe is never a bad option, I suppose.
No, definitely not, especially on Dazzle. It has an 11-second cooldown once you have max bad juju, which is amazing for an item like that. Like, obviously Necrobook is the go-to because it has such a high cooldown. Everyone's like, oh, okay, clearly cooldown reduction is the most value on something like that. But it doesn't seem that, I mean, with the Terrorblade, I don't really think you're struggling for damage, and you're not struggling for push, and those are the things that Necrobook excels the best at on such a low cooldown, is you're able to push extremely quickly, and you have so much damage with the creeps constantly being present at every single team fight. But I think Dazzle just is transitioning into more utility just because the Terrorblade is catching up fairly well. Like, Terrorblade did not have a good laning phase, but like you had mentioned, he's right up there with his Dazzle in terms of net worth.
Well, it's interesting, too. Terrorblade's kind of changing his mind here as far as, several times. He had a Manta style queued up initially, then he went BKB, and now he has a Daedalus queued up. So they're kind of talking it over, I'm sure, and figuring out, you know, where the game's at, and they have a cozy lead. What does it feel like he needs right now? It doesn't feel like he's been in too much danger yet, so honestly, I think this greedier build of going at least a Chrysalis and getting some big damage somewhat makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's the seesaw between him and Dazzle's. Dazzle's going less greedy with the Scythe of Vice, which is more utility as opposed to damage, and going something like a Daedalus as opposed to a BKB is more greedy from the Timbersaw. I mean, from the Terrorblade.
Timbersaw, speaking of him, Lotus Orb, a lot to purge off this game and potentially reflect, so... And of course, just the armor for himself is nice to have in this matchup, but I keep going back to this Drow too, and it just seems like Drow's consistently behind, and he's going to BKB, which is a case of, yeah, sure, useful item, but it just doesn't feel like that's going to be the game changer, though, at the same time.
No, definitely not, as Yang does stumble upon Fear, and Fear is caught between a rock and a hard place.
And all the trees.
And all the trees. Brawl gets out, though.
Well, yeah, they're gonna get bounty runes too, so...
Oh no, they don't, March! He thought he clicked it. Yep. You gotta shift queue these things.
Yeah.
Oh well. One bounty rune.
Unfortunate. I was gonna say, at least he distracted for Drow to allow Drow to get out of there.
Brilliant.
There you go. Well played, Fear. Manta style finish, and now he has a butterfly queued up, so yeah, Paparazzi just doesn't. He's just playing item roulette.
I'm not a fan of Daedalus, and because your illusions don't benefit from it, so it's very weird to go for that on an illusion-based hero like Terrorblade. Butterfly makes far more sense. Especially because the only damage that's really going to kill a Terrorblade is going to be the Drow damage. I don't think Timbersaw is going to get to a point that really makes Terrorblade scared, at least not before he can Sunder something. Whereas Drow Ranger can constantly pepper in damage, she can silence the Terrorblade, and Timbersaw is actually going in.
Well, they caught Bryle, over here. Drow is trying to run, but the war cries weren't off, and he's officially going to be caught. He buys components of the BKB, but He still doesn't have it.
Oracle is dueling with Moo near this Roche pit, and he's just breaking his ankles. And now they may actually be able to turn on Moo. The Fortune's End comes in, he's gonna get rooted.
It's gonna hit. That's gonna hit, and Moo's gonna regret this. This little duel that he had with Oracle is ultimately gonna be the end of him at this rate. He has a Bloodstone to use, but it's
stunned during the chain cast. Very well played by Fade.
Yeah, we're seeing some impressive Oracle play these last couple of days.
Yeah, for sure. Innocence and now DY.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a great catch. But again, if you go back to it, it's like, what was Moo doing? He wanted the kill, of course, but
I mean, in theory, it's a 10k net worth hero going up against a 2.5k net worth hero. Should be a pretty simple kill, but
you'd think so. Yeah.
Yeah, terribly. I mean, Timbersaw is all about situation, like his environment is where his damage comes from, and near the Roche pit you don't have many trees to work with.
We haven't even seen I don't think we've seen one shallow grave yet, nor a false promise, by the way. So those are two cooldowns that they still have in the bag. And look at, they're just pushing. What is J-Storm do? They're gonna accept it. They're like, we can't defend this.
Ferev's not even there.
Yeah.
He's pushing out bot.
Take our tower, I guess. I mentioned Frev, he gets the Crimson Guard, so talked about that, and yes, it's a good item to have this game, but that's going to be a Shrine kill on top of this now, so J-Storm just finding themselves really unsure of where to go in this game. It's the longer they kind of just play this pace out, the more and more they're just going to go further behind, so yeah, they got to trap for something, so, and you see right now, they're going to go for a smoke play, but I don't think they're going to catch up to them at this point.
Yeah, J-Storm actually pieced out. They could have finished off the entire shrine, but they leave it behind, so... yeah, sorry, ViCi leave it out, so very conservative play by them. And very interesting build from Yang. So after the Blink Dagger, which as it is already is kind of a rarity on Tidehunter these days, he goes for a Yule's Scepter afterwards. So a more utility to, I guess, disable the Timbersaw. Again, another way to prevent his chain from going off.
Well, and Gust Removal. Go back to that as well.
Oh yeah, Gust Removal also, yeah.
He doesn't have the Guardian Greaves like we do see sometimes on... I don't know.
I mean, generally most people just rely on the Kraken Shell, but yeah.
Well, that too, yeah. Either way. The offensive use and defensive use is there, and the item build's just making sense for ViCi. There's a lot of that going on in this game, I feel like, Tsunami. It's just everything ViCi Gaming's doing it just makes sense.
Doesn't it though?
Yeah, this is them when they're playing well, and we kind of hype them up going into the series. And that's bad news for J-Storm, and might be bad news for Moo. There's that Yules. Ravage is ready. So he goes with the aggressive Ravage right there, as the Earth Spirit takes the ultimate from Grimstroke, but it's not going to matter too much. That Magnetize slowing down and everything. March is going to run away forever in the midst of it with the Berserker Call. The Gust on top of that, and J-Storm might be turning things somewhat. Tidehunter goes down, and it looks like they are for the time being. Earth Spirit has to roll out, and luckily he's able to do so. Got the right angle, and the rest are going to keep on running as he'll roll once again. So, well, J-Storm, they fought well.
There was like suddenly a massive amount of damage, and I don't know what it was. Maybe it was an Ink Swell, because it was just in a small radius. I'm waiting for the fight recap to show up because I want to see who did the most damage on J-Storm.
I think it was the Call or Inkswell. Timbersaw also did decent damage there, yeah.
Yeah, Timbersaw did quite a bit. But yeah, so Grimstroke did nearly as much as the Drow Ranger, so I'm guessing that must have been it. But it was initiation by ViCi Gaming, and Ravage spent, and it didn't really do anything. I don't know how far behind the Dazzle was. I don't know how much Dazzle was participating in that fight, because for some reason it didn't seem like his impact was very high.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
No, False Promise was used there in that last fight, so...
Yeah, I got called through.
Well, okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Goes back to that in the Shallow Grave. They're going to
now Roche is up.
J-Storm wants to take it. Oh, that was awkward. They're going to use the silence up on Earth Spirit, the call, and they're trying to finish him off as Grimstroke applying that ulti in the backlash on Terrorblade, as well as the Oracle chaining them up together. Buyback on Earth Spirit as he went down. March now just holding his ground, says, all right, just might as well do as much as possible. Pops with God's Strength. The Inkswell going off as well. Bryle has to run away to pops the BKB, but the metaform of Terrorblade makes J-Storm scared now for good reason. The double kill eventually coming out. The Butterfly's finished on Paparazzi, by the way. Moo's going to sit on the uphill and have some fun with them. They're not giving this up, though. Buyback from Axe. J-Storm knows how important this is.
Yeah, buyback means you can back out. I mean, I don't think ViCi wanted to take it anyway. They just wanted to force J-Storm's hand. And they start clearing out the vision. I mean, J-Storm can re-engage with this buyback axe. You kind of have to. Metamorphosis is going to time out in around 5 or 10 seconds, and Tidehunter's dead. Although when he respawns, he will have Ravage. So it's very delicate for J-Storm right now. The problem is their top lane is also pushing. I think their ranged Rex is about to get claimed.
Yep. That it does. No point. They didn't even have fortification, so no chance.
Well, Tide is back, and he's got Ravage now.
Yeah, this is the dangerous thing now. J-Storm's in there themselves. You gotta be careful about that. They are spreading out pretty well, as I'm sure they're keeping that in mind with Tidehunter back up.
Man, killing these wards is so useful. It's nighttime right now, and J-Storm really want to know where this Tidehunter is.
No meta, though. No meta for 70 seconds.
Yeah, and that's the one thing going for J-Storm right now. But the thing is that they don't take this Roche particularly quickly. Moo's not going to take any damage from it, but Bryle is not really dealing enough damage. It's just a BKB Drow Ranger, and in goes the Tide.
Yeah, he gets silenced though. He gets silenced right there. Got the big beast mentioned on him. Brown, follow the storm here. He can't give the Ravage off. Down goes Tidehunter. He's out for 50 seconds, so no Ravage in the fight. The Soul by one's going to be applied as the Earth Spirit. Out comes the Fates, eating the False Promise as well. He puts the Magnetize out. Now Oracle being silenced up as well, but it's allowing Fate to do a little bit more before he inevitably goes down. He can kill the axe though. Paparazzi, he's doing work. He saw the Son of the Shallow Grave going to be applied at the last second on a Paparazzi. He didn't even need it though. It felt like just runs down the Drow. The Reflection helping on top of that. And a buyback immediately from Drow. This fight just never ends. This is like round 3 going to be coming up.
So on the fight recap, I see 4 Shadow Waves and 2 Poison Touches and 1 Shallow Grave. So that's 7 spells cast. That's like 15 armor reduction for everyone in the vicinity. Terrorblade was doing so much damage. Moo goes in again.
Throwing out that Whirling Death right there, and they get the kill on Terrorblade. He had Sutter. He buys back immediately, unable to get that initial Sutter off. Oracle, can he somehow survive? Fates Edict, not going to work, buddy. He buys back, though, too. Triple kill for Moo. So you see Drow getting the kill on a Roshan, or at least trying to. The buyback from Terrorblade sitting the illusion. This is going to be scary, though. Out comes the Ravage, though. Finally, it's going to be snapped by Yang. He takes it for himself. Terrorblade now running away. Pops that Metamorphosis for him. He's going to be rooted up for the meantime, but now he's going into March. Realizing he has to fight. False Promise coming up as well. Moo's sitting on top of him. He's getting the heals from Oracle, though. I believe Paparazzi should be fine. In fact, he sunders Oracle just in case. Fear now being ran down by the Titan. Remember, he's the one with the Aegis. As Moo, though, Moo's still feeling pretty cozy about all this. That Whirling Death doing so much damage. The Chakra. And now he's going to sit on top of his dead body as he comes back up. Earth Spirit nearby. And again, another Whirling Death. Chakra ready to go. He's going to be double combo though with the Earth Spirit rolling in over here. The call hitting the Oracle, but Oracle's able to kite away for now. He's getting some help from the Terrorblade, doing so much damage on Forev. And eventually he goes down again. Axe is out for another 40 seconds. Grimstroke going to be run down as well. So maybe the Aegis was used, but I think ViCi Gaming is going to be the ultimate victor in the fight.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to hit I because I don't know who all bought back. So Terrorblade bought back, Drow Ranger bought back, Axe bought back, Oracle bought back, and Earth Spirit bought back. So more net buybacks on the side of Dire, but they also got the Aegis, they also got the cheese. Aegis has been claimed, but Yang is still holding onto the cheese. And I mean, they deny all of that stuff from J-Storm, which I think is the most important thing.
Tier 3 going down. Axe is up in 5 seconds, Drow's up in 9, so they're going to lose to Tier 3. Will they go for the rack? It looks like for the time being the hour. Flush is going to be popped. We mentioned he sells the cheese on Terrorblade. And Moo, hexed up right there, but again, he feels pretty cozy. He's going to pop that. Oh, what a nice job with the Manta dodge on the Stormhammer. And Paparazzi continues to run now, so they're going to accept getting the tower. Not worth committing for the racks.
That was actually a legit Manta dodge, because like technically you can disjoint it, but it'll still do the AoE stun even if it's disjointed, so he legit dodged it. It wasn't just a disjoint, it was the entire 0.1 second banish period, so well played by Paparazzi to get out of that situation. They don't get very much, only get the tier 3, they don't claim any of the Raxes, but they get out cleanly.
He's a 1v1 champion after all.
That's true, he is. I saw him get carried by SCCC.
Daedalus is queued up for Terrorblade now. He's got the Chrysalis being delivered. So he is going to start dealing some more damage thanks to that. Again, going the Butterfly first. I don't like you liked that option, but now the Daedalus is I think that's fine.
I am still not enthusiastic about it. If anything, I would be hyped to see a Bloodthorn, because Moo's Lotus Orb is being able to save him from Fade's silences. Because Fade will he's holding onto the grip and ideally Mu is saving the Lotus Orb to get rid of the grip silence. But between Scythe of Vice and then a potential Bloodthorn, you can make Mu's life much, much harder. And I think Mu's the biggest issue for ViCi Gaming. Like, still the Drow Ranger is not looking particularly useful, still only has a BKB. So even though she's being very well protected by her frontline with the Axe and the Timbersaw, what good is having a frontline if your backline isn't doing any damage?
Someone's got a Manta, but she's in trouble. Out comes the Rabbit. She just bought the recipe. She's not going to have a buyback. She is out for 70 seconds. Reflection going out, Mu. Mentioned he is obviously tanky, just holding his ground what he can. The false promise coming out of tight under. The Yule's on top of that. Mu's in trouble now. He thought he was tanky. Well, it might not be taken up. Maybe the Bloodstone and keep him alive for the time being, actually. So yeah, he will be fine in the end. Brev cannot say the same thing, though. Double kill for Paparazzi. That metaphor of the Chrysalis auto attacks doing so much damage. They just cannot kite away. Mixed in with Dazzle, Poison Touch, I'm sure, and plenty of that. And now the tier 3 tower falling at the bottom lane. So ViCi Gaming trying to finish the game right here and right now. Yule's up once again on Mu. Pops that Lotus Orb. He's going to be sheeped up after the fact, though. And now Timbersaw again locked down. The silence, the stun, the follow-up damage. It is going to be there. Lotus Orb. He's
getting kicked away.
He got kicked away from the Earth Spirit. What are you doing, buddy? Well, I guess he stays alive, but his base, not going to be the same story.
And all of these heroes are still alive, or he can pump out Shadow Waves for days. His Greaves only has a 20-second cooldown with level 18 bad Juju. So the stack time, the stack time is the same thing as the Greaves time. So I know, I think Mech has, like, you can't get healed by multiple mechs because obviously then everyone would build 5 mechs on their team. But it looks like Greaves cooldown is linked to the, like, the stack period, or it's a little bit shorter. So yeah, 20-second Greaves, 11-second Scythe of Vice. Who needs the Necrobook?
That's crazy. Dagon has been purchased? Is that on the courier? Yeah, there's a Dagon on the courier. So I was gonna say Blink Dagger, honestly, especially having that Scythe. It feels like that'd be pretty good, but nah, he's fine. He wants a Dagon. The heavy burst help break through the Timbersaw a little bit more, I'm sure, is a part of that.
Yeah, it's all about the Timber. And Timber's gonna show himself. I don't know if Mu knows how close ViCi Gaming are right now.
No.
Fade is right there.
They're going. Oh, the
that was a little bit miscommunicated.
Yeah, Yang went for the Yules and Fade rolled in. So they silence him, but it wears off, and Timber's just gonna kite away. So he's a little slippery. Fortune's in though.
He's still got Lotus.
They will catch him. The Scythe eventually happened, and he's got the Lotus, but it's not enough. And he is dead for 90. I gotta think that's just it.
Yeah, he drops the gem as well. So 14k net worth right now. And wow, actually he gave up a ton of experience. He gave up 4,000 experience for that death to 5 heroes. And J-Storm, this is a YOLO play.
Might as well, right? But Ravage comes out, and YOLO play into a game-finishing play. ViCi Gaming takes game 1, so they're going to be able to come up 1-0 here in this best-of-3 series. Still a chance to respond from J-Storm. I mean, let's start with ViCi first. They played well. Like, that is part of it for sure. That's a big part of it, I think. They played very well. They looked good. Teamwork was there. The supporting cast especially was on point.